Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Friend or Foe Esports, Week 3, Day 2 of our very own Luna League. Jumping right into Game 1 of the night, we have Church of Alfonso taking the blue side, and on the red side, we have our beloved Blue Bayou Zoo. I'm really excited to get into these games we have for you today. As always, my name is Whirler, and casting alongside me today, we have Lolo.
Wagwan guys, really looking forward to this game. It's going to be pretty spicy, I think. There's definitely a bit of a history between these two teams. I think they're currently 1-1 right now in the regular split, however, or just overall. But I was talking a little bit to Red, Blue Bayou Zoo's captain, prior to the game, and he's excited for this. He thinks they've definitely got this in the bag. So, firstly, as we jump into the pick and ban, we've seen immediate first pick Victor. To talk about the bans quickly, of course, Orphic, a Wukong player, so that makes sense. Most of this is comfort that they're trying to take off the board. But the first pick, Victor, is very bold. It shows that PC Vita, who is a new addition to COF's roster, I believe, is very confident that he's not going to get counterpicked too easily. And on the flip side, BBZ are going to immediately lock in a very solid bot lane combination. The Aphelios Brown, very safe, very good scaling, really strong. And to combat that, COF are going to go immediately to take the bot lane matchup with the Jhin Rel. How do you feel about this so far, Weller?
I definitely like the Aphelios pick. Mostly whenever I see Aphelios picked on an FOF stage, it has not let me down just yet. I love seeing this champion played. And honestly, I haven't seen too many underperforming Aphelioses so far in FOF. So if that reigns true again under Tef's hands, I think COF has a bit of a problem on their hands. You said it yourself, good scaling in that bot lane. Aphelios needs that. As soon as he gets 2 to 3 items, we are going to see this champion pop off. I definitely like the boldness in PC Vita's Victor pick into the Syndra, so we already have that matchup locked in. I don't think it's that bad of a matchup for Victor either. I feel like PC Vita has a decent hand into this, especially if that's his comfort pick as we're into the second phase of bans.
And the second phase of bans are very much going to be targeted towards the top lane. I can see that both of these teams are looking ideally, and you see a Xin Zhao pick very strong in the meta, of course, but they're definitely trying to keep their cards as close to their chest as possible with the top lane matchup. Having said that, an immediate Alawi comes into play here. That's not a pick we see very often at all, and Paytime must be very confident on this. And on the flip side, we see a Tryndamere. Orphic, by the way, was originally going to be moved down into the support position for BBZ. However, he's last minute stepped back into the top lane where he is more comfortable anyway, and Songo is stepping in as to fill as the support on this Brown. I think we're really going to be looking particularly because the rest of the board we're quite familiar with these matchups. I think I would certainly give it, I agree, to the Aphelios Brown in the bot lane. I think that's a very strong lane. So much disengaged from the Brown. The Aphelios is definitely going to be out damaging the Jhin as the game goes on. But this Alawi Tryndamere matchup in the top lane, definitely not one we see very often, and it should be very exciting. I'm very interested to see how this plays out.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that. I have not seen Tryndamere played once in FOF with my time here, and I'm excited to see how it performs into the Alawi, because Alawi is such a bold pick in the top lane. So much damage, so much fighting. I feel like Alawi herself sort of baits Tryndamere into fighting a bad fight. We're going to see how that goes on, though, in the top lane as we get into this. What do you think the result is going to be of this game? Who is taking game 1 of the night?
I personally think that BBZ have the overall stronger draft, just because I think overall it's that bot lane that really makes the difference. I think the mid lane matchup, as you said, PC Vita is quite happy there with the Victor. However, he's going to have to really get a lot of kills under his belt and just resources in order to make this happen. The Alawi, I think, is a bit of a question mark. She can be very strong in team fights, but to be honest, I think both of these teams are looking for a bit of a 1-4 setup overall. And I think that over in the later stages of the game, because of the the kill potential of the Tryndamere is actually going to benefit them when those two top laners continue to match each other on an island in the side lane. However, we'll have to see how it plays. As I said, not a matchup we see very often, and if Paytime does know how to get a little bit of a bait onto Orphic and bait out his Undying Rage potentially, then the Leap of Faith from her, very devastating in fights. It could be the turnaround. The Trundle, not as much value here. I mean, there aren't too many good subjugate targets, but of course, as always, he is always going to be value with his the pillar and the subjugate anyway, just even with low resources. So overall, I still think BBZ have this better. I think it's a more easy to execute comp, and the 1-4 is going to be very, very strong, but we'll have to see what happens. There could be this wildcard potential from the Alawi, and if PC Vita is confident on this, if that gets a bit of a lead, then it could be a lot more difficult for this team to fight, this BBZ team to fight front to back when we get into the later stages of the game.
Absolutely. And I'm going to have to agree with you on this. I do think Blue Bayou Zoo is going to be taking this game as well. I personally like their comp so much better than I do Church of Alfonso's. I feel like their team fight is more organized. They have they have a clear objective when it comes to the team fight, and oftentimes the simplicity when it comes to team fighting overtakes complexity, especially when you have too many wild card picks, like you said, on Church of Alfonso. If they get an edge, then the wild card picks could indeed be troublesome for Blue Bayou Zoo. However, I do believe the 4-1 comp that you were talking about will prevail as we head into game number 1 of the night, ladies and gentlemen. We are in for it. We got a Tryndamere versus PC Vita's Alawi in the top lane, so it's actually going to be a lane swap. RHC is going to be piloting the victor in this game. In the jungle, we have Paytime versus BBZ Dax. You know him and you love him. RHC on the Victor against BBZ Red, Champion Red. You gotta love him. I didn't get to see too much performance from last time I saw him, and I really hoped to. So I'm excited to see him in the mid lane once more. Cold Blaster in the bot lane, pouting the Jhin against Tef's Philios, and then last but not least, Big Beshi on the Rel versus Mr. Songo.
Yeah, it's there's definitely a little bit more, as you said, very well-known players on the side of BBZ. However, are we going to see some early aggression, just as I hold that thought, between Orphic and... This is extremely deep from Orphic right now.
And
RHC is looking in trouble.
RHC is looking to cut him off. Orphic having to play to the side a little bit. He has nowhere to go, no safety whatsoever. Everyone from the blue team is trying to get to Orphic, as he's going to get into the top side left bush and do a TP. Is he going to be able to get out of this one? I think he will. Very well played from Orphic to be able to get out of that one alive. That was a close one. He is going to have to start the lane, though. Very disadvantaged.
Yes, and an immediate TP advantage from the side of COF. That definitely that's a very lengthy summoner spell, which you really don't want to be giving up quite so early on, because it gives the Alawi so much more global presence than this Tryndamere, who's sitting on a ghost, and is probably just going to have to use that to get back into lane if he manages to make it that far, given how these trades are going.
Definitely so. Alawi going to have an easy time in this top lane if played correctly. Orphic going to have to play really carefully as he is treading on thin ice.
Yeah, and in the bot lane, at the moment, we're just seeing a little bit of posturing from both sides. Not too much is going to be happening yet until potentially we see... I mean, the Rel can all in at level 2, but the Brown just provides so much disengage that it just really doesn't feel like it's one they want to be going for. So instead, they're probably just both going to look to scale and potentially wait for their junglers, who, as you can see, Dax did start on the top side, so he is going to be pathing down towards that bot lane and potentially contesting the bot scuttle. So if the side of BBZ, as I say that, by the way...
Oh my god. Orphic forfeiting every bit of CS he can possibly get on the board with 1 CS to his name. Goes for the 1v1 trade on PC Vita, so disadvantaged, and comes out on top. This one is really good, as he pops the ghost to sort of kite a little bit faster. PC Vita has been thrown into the ringer. Dodges the Q, gets the last auto attack. It wasn't even close. Orphic piloting the Tryndamere top, disadvantaged very well.
And again, we have to raise some question marks on this Alawi pick. This champion is has a pretty weak laning phase overall. It just generally has, as I say that though, some aggression in the bot lane. Not going to be too much there. However, it does look like Paytime might be going for a lane gank, potentially. No, he is going to... Nah, he's just going to leave that one off. He doesn't think it's worth it. Not with all those minions there, but... Instead, he's going to look to maybe contest the bot side river, as I believe the crab hasn't yet been taken. Instead, Dax opted to move into the top side river himself. So, nothing too much happening over there, but going back to that top lane matchup, just the Alawi, still not providing too much value. However, with the TP, she's actually held on to it and been able to walk back into lane. But
ooh, Beshuwab going in for the stun on Songo. Songo having a W out of this one. Paytime looking to get some AD from him, but he's going to take some poke out from the Aphelios Q. It's very good for the Aphelios to get that jungle HP advantage. Now, Paytime is going to be extremely low going into these next few camps. Really shuts down the potential for him to put more pressure on the map, giving Dax more room to make things happen.
Yeah, and as you can see, like the Braum is just such a strong pick right now in the meta, and paired with this, it's an incredibly strong lane overall. You see the gank potential virtually non-existent unless they commit so many resources into doing it. Just because the stand behind me, the shield, I mean, they're barely they're left almost untouched from that aggression from Paytime. And what this has allowed is it's allowed Dax to move his way into the bot river himself. There is vision there, however. He's got a bit of a CS lead, and is Orphic going to kill him again? No, he gets the...
Pulls the soul out of him to get the better of the trade. Still up a good 15 CS on the Tryndamere, which is still in a decent position. Good trade from the Syndra to get some HP off of RHC. The top lane matchup is looking a little... it's looking a little confusing so far as we're seeing it being played out. I'm very interested to see where it's going to go. None of these fights have really been very deciding. Orphic is going to be able to get some nice CS to help him catch up in this lane. It's going to be very, very good for him to start. Alawi not doing too well up here despite having the CS advantage, but none of it really matters at the current moment. Everything only matters with the top laners later in the game. Seems pretty even though in terms of gold, especially with that kill under Tryndamere's belt. It being first blood gives it so much more value too. How do you feel so far about these matchups aside from the top lane? How do you feel about this mid matchup currently with Syndra Victor? And more importantly, we're getting ourselves a Cloud Drake very early for Blue Bayuzu.
Yeah, so again, the added sustain of the bot lane from the side of BBZ, allowing them to hold on to the wave there. A nice roam down from Red as well. You notice that the Victor has, in fact, we haven't mentioned this yet, but he is running Barrier. Worried a little bit, I guess, about that early aggression from the Xin Zhao, but Dax is just... As Orphic is going to take a little bit of punishment here, but he's sensibly going to stay there, not run away, because that's not what you really want to do once you've got your soul taken. That's an immediate proc onto the soul. So instead, he's just gonna walk out of that one, duke out on the tentacles. But yes, so in the mid lane, it's been fairly even so far, just trading waves, building themselves up a nice amount of CS on both sides, and overall, this does benefit Red because he's had that TP advantage, at least for now. Whilst Dax has elected not to close too much aggression down onto this Victor, possibly noticing that he does in fact have the phase rush, the barrier. He is quite safe. He's got a lot of ways of getting out of trouble. Ooh. Instead, he's going to move up into the top lane.
Dax coming in. While he does have the flash option available, she is fine in this scenario. Dax recognizing that, he's going to back off early, give up on that, and not waste any time. That's honestly really good on Dax to assess that gank was not worth the time. Very, very good on him. Gets back into the jungle, keeps farming it up on the Xin Zhao. He is about a camp up on the Trundle currently, which is really, really good for him, considering how fast Trundle is able to clear. Apparently Xin Zhao is able to do him one better.
Yes, absolutely. And we see a little bit of aggression going down on the bot side here, but again, because of the sustain, the amount of disengage that BBZ's side has, they really get nothing of it, and actually are a little bit worse from the trade, because the Aphelios with that Severum there is just going to be able to lifesteal his way back up to full fairly quickly. The Jhin, not having quite as much CS early on, he has got a refillable potion now, so he's going to be fine as well. But yeah, there really just isn't much kill potential down here on the bot side, and that overall is still benefiting the side of BBZ because of the scaling. Now that Alawi is a little bit more online, she's got herself a Bramble Vest to counteract that, obviously, that lifesteal from the Tryndamere. PC Vita, by the way, who I've only just noticed, of course, is the one piloting the Alawi. It's taken me far too long. I'm sorry, it's very late my time. But he's going to be the one up on this Alawi, the wild card himself. And that is the sidestep on the Soul, which is the crucial ability that you have to look out for on the Alawi. RHC, Victor player, this does make a lot more sense. Apologies for this. He is just overall. I mean, there hasn't been too much action on the map besides that that solo kill. Oh, and Malika
we're gonna have ultis burned in the top lane, both going out. Orphic popping the ghost onto Alawi to try to get that last hit. It falls just short. The armor making a big difference there. Alawi gonna pick up a solo kill onto Tryndamere, even in the score. That is really good for PC Vita to get ahead of this Tryndamere in this game. Both ultis pop, very well played.
Yeah, and once Orphic had it was an all-in he had to take, because once you've gotten the soul taken away and the leap of faith has been procced, Alawi just has so much sustain from all of those tentacle slams that it makes it very hard for him to burst her down. And you saw it.
Oh my!
Oh no, he's going in again. And
going for the TP, the rage play. He's really trying for this, but Paytime is already on the case. Orphic taking low again. He's gonna go down for a second time in a minute. Paytime taking his paycheck up here in the top lane as Dax and Red are looking to even the score out a little bit. Dax flashing forward on a Paytime. Paytime having to flash out of that one. PC Vita is gonna go down to Syndra. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Beshi and Cold Blaster are getting the 2v2 on a Songo and Tef. Tef taking that one to the bank, getting half their health. And in the top lane, Dax coming out with a kill. Champion Red, actually, BBZ Red, is going to be the one picking that up and giving the advantage in terms of gold in the mid lane to Syndra. That's very good for her. Gets her into the game faster. A mid-game Syndra is not one to toy with, as this game is looking more and more interesting. 2-2 across the board.
And, I mean, we're seeing the bot lane now. Again, like, that's probably going to be where BBZ are going to have to continue to focus, because this top lane is a bit of a fiesta right now. We've seen a lot of resources now committed up there. Constant trades, just constant all-ins, as a Tryndamere is wont to do. And, I mean, to be fair, Orphic probably doesn't care too much about this. He's fairly even on CS. He's actually more or less even on the KD line. He is a little bit behind on items, but
not too much going to happen from that. Just a little trade from Beshi and Songo.
No, and because the Tryndamere has such precious side laning, he's going to be a lot more of a nuisance to deal with in this late game compared to the Alawi. Obviously, being able to get onto the backline easily and just being able to run around the map with the Ghost, the TP as well when it's up, and just continue to push lanes in. So all of this map so far has really been about the side lanes. I mean, the mid lane, again, these guys, they're on exactly even CS. The Syndra does have the advantage. She's got that Leandri's Anguish on deck, just because of the kill that she received up in the top side. However, they're just content to trade waves and wait for the...
But there's a jungle fight going down in the bot lane as top lane goes down. We'll go that in just a second. But Dax starting a fight up here in the jungle. Beshi and Paytime going to be countering back at that, as it is 1-for-1 currently. Jin going down as well, but Tef is going to go down to the Rel. Rel with the double kill. It's going to be Songo going down next, and COF are going to be taking this fight very, very well for themselves, as it is a 4 versus 3. Syndra still in the mid lane, and Victor just showing up, not going to get anything out of that fight. Very well played fight from COF for the 3v3 to get 3 kills for themselves. 2 kills for themselves. Songo getting out barely alive, but they're going to pick up an Infernal Dragon in their pockets.
Yeah, and just when I said that not so much action has been happening down on this bot side because of all of the Fiestaing top, well, they get there's some early aggression from COF moving into the bot side river, bot side jungle as well, excuse me, on the side of BBZ, and the amount of tenacity, I suppose, and in the literal sense, from the Trundle and the Rel combined, getting onto this backline, managing to burst down the Aphelios, taking out Dax as well. There really wasn't too much that poor Songo could do about that. He was trying his hardest to peel for his AD carry, but when there's a Trundle running straight past him and just trying to get onto the onto Tef, once he's used his cooldowns, there's really not much he can do apart from auto him and try to proc his concussive blows. So, yep, overall, very, very good fight. Oh, wow, and Tef a bit caught out here.
Fighting going on here is there's another war on two fronts. Earlier, we had the top fight go down during that jungle fight, but we got something going down here as Rel gives over a shutdown to Tef, and it looks like Syndra's going to be picking up another for herself. Trundle up in the top lane, however, there's some action going on there as the first tower goes down. Orphic busts out the ulti. He's not going to be able to get out alive. RHC flashing for the kill. It's going to be Dax going in on RHC, but that's 3 members. He's not going to be able to get out of this one too scathed as well, as RHC picking himself up a double kill. That's very, very well played for them. That is the second war on two fronts this game, as 2 fights have been happening on the map at the same time twice this game. That's a lot of 2s, and honestly, that's a lot of fighting. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a game.
We do indeed, and everything as we mentioned before is happening in the side lanes. I mean, just going back to that previous engage onto the Aphelios, when the Trundle isn't there, the amount of burst damage that this Aphelios has, he's got his shield bow on deck now. The Rel just gets absolutely shredded, and just leaves Cold Blaster Tab to walk away. It's a shame that Tef wasn't able to cross-map as efficiently as he'd like there, because he didn't have the Crescendum on deck in order to get the maximum amount of damage onto that turret, get as many plates as possible. Of course, plates have now dispersed from the map at 14 minutes. So now, I mean, the gold is still relatively even. We see Prio on both sides of the lane, and dragons are even. Overall, I mean, it's been fairly scrappy so far. Orphic has definitely gotten the worst of some of these roams from RHC and the aggression coming in from Paytime, but he doesn't seem to care. He's just going to go and invade their topside jungle and just ignore PC Vita entirely, apparently.
And Paytime's not going to like what he's seeing, as he's going to go for the 1v1 on Orphic. He's not taking any damage, and Orphic is not in a good situation. RHC looking to cut him off around the corner, and you got a Lowy off to the side. Undying Rage coming out. It's not going to matter. RHC is picking himself up a 3rd kill of the game. That is very good. Beshi getting kicked out over here. Syndra coming out. He's going to barely live this one. He's going to go down to the Syndra Q, and then we got ourselves a team fight here in the mid lane as Songo is getting out of that one. Red caught out of position. He's going to go down. That's going to go to Paytime. Paytime picking up so many paychecks. Dax jumping onto the Jhin. All Jin's going to be going down. Dax is getting the knockup. It is not going to matter as Trundle gets the sub, or gets the, I believe that was red buff that ticked him down. But RHC getting some more damage over here on the other side of the map. Songo and Tef going to have to run out of that one. Paytime looking to cut them off, but he's going the wrong way. That's going to be a mid tower under fire, and a 3-4-1 team fight. 3-2 actually, for COF.
Yes, and overall, I mean, that was quite a scattered fight. Tef, who I was paying attention to for all that, was more or less zoned out. He did not have the right guns he really wanted for that. It was quite a late Moonlight visual from him, which, even though he's got a bit of damage on, he's had to go for a much more defensive build because of all of this engage on the side of COF, and there just isn't the same amount of damage. I mean, this Victor was free-firing the entire time with his abilities, getting off the Death Ray. He's got the Loons on deck now. He's doing a lot of damage to this front line, or what you can call a front line from the side of BBZ. And yeah, just they get shredded down because the zoning control, the numbers, of course, as well, because Orphic had gotten caught out before. Overall, this is definitely given them, it's only given them about a 1k gold lead, but it has blown that mid tower open, and that's going to give them a lot of prio as we move towards these neutral objectives. We've got another dragon, a mountain drake spawning in. As I say that, though,
Dax is jumping right on into this one, popping the ulti. He's going down. Beshiwap taking the L for that one, but Dax doesn't have too much health to spare as Paytime picks himself up another kill game. Over on the other side, Tef having to run away from the Alawi there, taking very low. Orphic as well, no ulti, no ghost, being chased down by Paytime. Tef and Songo taken very low as well, but all of the members of COF at 1 HP. The Leandries will take them down. The E from Syndra going just a little bit wide. Songo going down to the tentacle. It's going to be Paytime coming back around the pillar, blocking off Red. He's not going to engage on that one, though, as he understands that he can get killed for that one. E going down on Syndra, not going to be enough to survive this one. Potion ticking. Tef is going to go down for this one as well, but the potion ticking on Red is going to keep him alive, and that's going to be 4-3 4-1 for COF. Another very good team fight for them.
Oh my goodness, Steve. That is heartbreaking for BBZ right there. You see that, again, it was the Moonlight Vigil, which was just it was just a little bit out of range, and it was Infernum as well. I think that might have been, it might have been a triple kill even if he managed to lock that down. But, I mean, the fight was very fragmented, which, as we saw with the previous fight in mid lane, Orphic trying to get on the back line on RHC. RHC was literally 1 HP, but he did manage to flash away, and Orphic just wasn't able to lock him down. He had to run away and did eventually get chased down himself. It's just the problem with this comp, which we did think might have the advantage for BBZ right now, is there really isn't enough frontline and zoning tools compared to this Victor, this Trundle, the Alawi as well. Of course, the Rel's got the engaged. I mean, Jin as well with the Curtain Call. They have so much AoE presence in order to zone away the carries from BBZ. And the Syndra and the Aphelios were eventually just left on their own. And they tried to walk up again, but without any frontline, they just got melted down as well. So, yeah, it's really looking really tough for BBZ right now because of that. There's 2 Drakes on the board for the side of COF, and they are going to start contesting around this Baron.
Definitely.
Which will be spawning in about 30 seconds. They won't be able to get this Herald, I don't think.
It's surprising to see so much action, and it's only 19 minutes into the game. There is currently 22 kills on the board at 19 minutes, and that is amazing to see all this action so far. Hex Flash coming out from Beshi. He's going to take some damage from that. They're not going to get power off of this push, but they are going to get a free Rift Herald for it. COF.
Are they though? Are they though? It's close. Yeah, they do.
Oh my god, that was very close from Dax to almost steal that away from Paytime. Paytime, good smite to secure that one, but Baron is spawning, and it is on the map. We have now reached 20 minutes, and wow, so much action on the map. I've said that before, but it is incredible how much there really is for this early in the game. So much early team fighting. Really love to see it. Beshi taking really low. Red. Ooh, Beshi getting out of that one alive, having the W out. Not too bad for her. No actual kills just yet. Not enough action to really constitute it. We're just in a little bit of a neutral, an aggressive neutral, if I must say, as Dragon has another 3 minutes to spawn. And let's see how blood hungry COF and BBZ really are in this next coming fight.
I mean, whilst we've got a little bit of a lull on the map, as you say, the neutral objectives are more or less down, and neither of these teams have a particularly fast Baron yet. Not until the side of BBZ or in fact the side of COF have managed to get themselves a little bit more items. But if we take stock of the items right now, we do see that the mid lane from both sides quite heavily accelerated. This Syndra, whilst getting caught out once, is now very strong indeed. She's got herself 2 items. The Void Staff as well as the Leandri's Anguish. She's going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage to the front line in fights if she's allowed to walk up. On the flip side, I mean, this bot lane from COF haven't really been able to achieve much, but it doesn't matter because look at this top side. Look at Paytime, who has just been uncontested. He's gone for a very tanky build, and I don't think it's going to be very difficult to kill him. Of course, the Aphelios and the Syndra can burst him down, but with the Subjugate as well, he's going to be a bit of a bastion along with this Alawi with 2 items now. The Sterax completed as well. They're going to go for this, Orphic?
They're going to go for this dive. Orphic tanking the tower on Undying Rage. Teth getting a lot of damage. Paytime forced to flash out. Bessie following just behind it. Orphic, Undying Rage did time out, is going to go down to the tower, but the tower is going to go down right afterwards, and that's one really good kill for BBZ to help them get back into this game. Dax on a RHC. RHC having to run away from this one, has the movement speed as Dax forces his flash out. Paytime going to drop the pillar to stop Dax, but he's not going to care. Ulti's coming out. He's going to get stunned up once more. He's not going to be able to get this kill just yet, but RHC forced the flash from Songo. Songo getting the Q. He's going to get the shutdown. That's going to be really good for them. Dragon coming up in a minute. Not too much time to spare. Dax getting the EQ over, or the WE over the wall. And he's going to be able to get out alive away from the Alawi. Alawi popping the ulti to try this fight out. For
my goodness.
Kill on Dax. Dax all for naught. He's going to go down. Double kill for PC Vita. Tef going to go down slowly after, as we got Paytime. Unstoppable champion Red is in a bit of trouble here as the zoning ults from Jin are going to go wide. He's going to flash out of there. He's going to stay alive. It is not going to be the end for Red just yet. Very good turnaround from COF to make that fight into their favor.
Oh my goodness. And That was just a bit of an overextension there from the side of BBZ. We did see a beautiful Flash Winters bite into the Braum emote from Songo. Fantastic work there. But then PC Vita just walks around and gets the soul off. The E gets the leap of faith, and the Aphelios and Syndra there trying to burst him down, but he's just too tanky. Look, he's working his way to a Thornmail, but already just from the Divine Sundra and the Sterax gauge and the amount of sustain from the Tentacle Slams, they just couldn't do anything to him, and it allowed COF enough time to rotate back into their bot side jungle, pick up those kills, and just now they've got so much priority on this Drake. It's going to be really, really hard for BBZ to walk up, especially as, well, I mean, Dax is trying to look for a flank, but these carries are just... They don't have any front line at all. This is incredibly scary.
Dax going for the hero play. RHC is going to go down. Dax taking a kill for himself. Paytime's alone over there, but I don't think it matters too much as he's going to go for 2 over here. Champion Red caught out just a little bit. The pillar is enough to slow down Red, but it's not going to be enough to get a kill for themselves. They're going to trade 1-for-1 mid lane for jungle. While we're talking about dragons and this tanky Trundle, I feel like having more Mountain Dragons on Trundle so far is going to only spell disaster for BBZ if they're able to get more and more. Moonlight Vigil coming out is going to be able to get 1, but that Dragon is going over to Paytime. Paytime even more tanky than he used to be. Tef in the back line going to be pumping as much damage as he can. Orphic getting caught by Orphic. Orphic going to pick that one up for himself, but PC Vita doesn't care at all. Songo is going to go down right just next. Tef getting a good kite onto Alawi is going to be enough to get that kill, but Paytime going godlike as Tryndamere has had his final breath. That is really good for COF to pick up another Mountain Drake for their tanky members, giving them soul point and evening out on a fight. Not too bad for them, especially since they did get that valuable dragon and a turret here in the bot lane. Very good for COF.
I think we might have undersold this or oversold this comp on the side of BBZ, because when you see that the Braum just isn't able to provide enough frontline against this Trundle with the Subjugate and with the Rel, the amount of damage coming out from the Victor as well, not to mention the Alawi. It's just the carries from BBZ are having to walk up themselves, which is precisely not what they want to be doing. This Aphelios does a ton of damage, even with the very defensive build he's had to rotate towards. You see with the shield bow, excuse me, and the Wit's End. I did lose the item there for a second, but it's very defensive. It's trying to stop him getting bursted down, and it means he isn't doing quite as much raw damage as he would like. But even so, it's because I don't blame him, because he just doesn't seem to have much of a front line in these fights to work around. The Xin Zhao is looking for flanks. The Tryndamere likewise is looking for flanks. Orphic did get a nice flank off, but because of all of the resources available, the slows the CC. Oh no, and that doesn't go well. He's got to walk away.
He's got to walk away from that. Going to take a little bit of damage going in for this split push. You were expecting the 4-1 to happen, and indeed it is, but COF going for the 1-3-1. They have the wave clear to pull it off. Victor is a part of their wave clear, but getting the push on top lane is going to force Syndra to come up there as well. She has the TP. Victor does not. I don't believe there should be anything to fight for right now. I don't think BBZ have an edge on this Baron at all. And if COF catch them out over here, that could spell disaster for them. They're going to be having a neutral in this mid lane, getting their farm up. We got third items coming out on a few members here. Trundle getting very, very close to his third. We got Alawi rocking all 3 items for himself. We got another fight here in the top of this Orphic. Picking the wrong fights. Forced to pop out the ghost. Got to run away from the tentacle lady. Not going to matter too much, though, as we are back in neutral.
So the good news...
As I say that,
are they going to do it? They are. Paytime looks like he wants it.
Looks like they're going to do it. Let's see how this one's going to go. BBZ not too grouped up for this. Orphic running away from the Alawi to look to get a TP angle, but they're going to call it off as they see the members of BBZ grouping around.
So the good news I was going to say for BBZ is that, look, I mean, Orphic, he's a Tryndamere, he's a nuisance. It doesn't matter. He's one of these champions like Sion, right? You can knock him down as many times as you like. He's still a nuisance because he's going to be running around the side lanes and just pushing everything in, taking down towers. Yeah, he's going to get out. It's fine. So whilst Orphic has had a pretty rough game, he has gone for some quite serious overextensions, and this Alawi is very turbo far ahead. She is a problem, for sure, but the Trindamis still has value. And the other thing is that whilst the Baron is not particularly fast from the side of COF, which is why they realized they had to call it off, the Jhin, I mean, I'm a Jhin OTP, I will tell you, this champion does not take Barons very quickly, sadly. Not compared to Aphelios at all. Aphelios, known for shredding Barons, to Syndra as well. They have a very fast Baron, especially if Orphic does decide to group up with them. So they can look for it potentially if they do manage to get a pick. But it just is so difficult because the control of the map right now is all COFs in the mid lane. And these members, again, the Aphelios is having to walk there himself. The Brown is there to provide some peel for him, but not enough when the Trundle and the Rel are there. So instead, this Soul is going to be spawning in 40 seconds time, and the control of the river, again, look at all of those wards we've got down on the top side of the jungle. That's for the red side, of course. They just don't have no vision on the river, whereas all of the vision on the side of the blue side for COF just means that, and the pillar as well. How are they going to walk up?
Definitely so. Tef rocking Infernum and Gravitum for this fight coming up here. Final Dragon for this game as the Mountain Soul is imminent for COF. They're looking to just give Soul and trade for Baron potentially. Definitely probably the best choice, especially considering that Aphelios does not have proper guns for this. Paytime going to solo the Final Dragon, and that is going to be 4 members walking up to contest this Baron. They don't have their thick Trundle that no one can shred.
No, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. Look, curtain call.
Oh, the Moonlight Vigil going wide. It's not going to matter too much. Taken very low. BBZ all at half health. Orphic into the fray. Cold Blaster forced a flash heal over the wall. He's 1 HP, but Orphic popping the Undying Rage. He might get out of this one alive. Good Cinder Stun to keep him up. Orphic taken very low. PC Vito's looking to fight for himself, but BBZ Dax is going to jump on a Cold Blaster, trade his life for that kill. But all members are super low. Beshi going for the stun onto Aphelios. That's going to pick him up, and that's going to be Victor picking up a double kill for himself. That's the Mountain Soul picked up for the side of COF, and they're going to look to get this Baron with those 2 kills they just got.
They can as well now. I mean, potentially. I mean, yes, if Paytime does rotate over, now they certainly can. 2 members are respawning on the side of BBZ, and that was just that. I did say they do have a very fast Baron. They know it as well. They were trying to sneak it whilst they were aware that COF were going to go and look for the Soul, but in the end, I think it's a misplay. I don't think that they were going to get away with it with the amount of vision control. Wait a minute.
This could be a potential steal. That was very close. Good smite from Paytime to secure that one, and they're going to get a Baron for themselves. Gold lead is still even as it could be with how much we've been seeing COF take these fights and win. We are still only 2,000 gold at 30 minutes ahead of BBZ, and honestly, that is not a lot. So that Baron, before the Baron, that was a difference of 500 gold. This is a very close game despite all that's been happening.
I mean, yes, I certainly agree. It is quite a close gold discrepancy. However, the gold doesn't speak for the fact that there's a lot of passive gold that just isn't showing in that because of the Mountain Soul, for one thing, which is worth, I'm not sure quite how much it is, but it's at least 3,000, I think, itself as well, just because of the amount of stats that it's giving to the team. So I need to be checked on that. But either way, it's providing an awful lot more value. It's going to get harder and harder for BBZ to take these fights, and now Dax is caught out.
Dax is caught out on this one, gonna get rooted up by the Jhin. Paytime sticking to him like glue no matter how many Syndra E's are popped at him. Paytime getting Zonya's done. He's gonna have to run away from this one, but he's not gonna care too much. He doesn't die. He's got 3 Mountain Breaks, and he's got a dream as Victor's pumping out the damage. Tef off to the side, getting caught up by Paytime. He's got to run away from this one, but can he get out of this one as the pillar is going to slow him down? Orphic with the Undying Rage is going to try to pick up one, but Tef with the 1v1 on 2 Paytime is going to shut him down. That's going to be one of 2 kills that BBZ are going to get as 4 members go down in this fight. And to clarify a little bit about the worth of Mountain Soul, it is a little tentative how worth it is, depending on how much Armor and MR you have to get bonuses from. Trundle making very good use of these bonuses, and the rest of the team, it's going to be a little bit less. So the value from these Mountain Drakes, you are correct, is very vital for Paytime especially.
I mean, they have quite a lot of wave clear here, but the Baron is still sticking up right now. And after that, after just that, Dax getting caught out like that against Paytime in the bot lane, and all of his teammates rotating around. This is going to be, well, one inhibitor's down. They might be able to defend this if there's enough. Yes, there's enough clear, just as much. The sliver of health there on that inhib. So it is only one inhib. However, two of them are now exposed, and whilst there are no neutral objectives to take on the map, this does allow a little bit of additional scaling for the side of BBZ. They're not going to be able to leave their base very easily because whilst there's only one TP in this the Allows, there isn't really too much potential for a backdoor. It's still it's just going to be so difficult now for BBZ to continue to play this out. You see the Syndra, Red is now being forced. He is being hovered by his jungler, but still he's having to walk into the side lane. That's not traditionally where you would want the Syndra to be, but they're just going to have to try to push these lanes out because at the moment they have no priority on the map. The Aphelios, though, he's now sitting on 3 items. He's got a Lord Dominic's. I think that's a very sensible pickup, particularly regarding the Mountain Soul. There's a lot of extra health on these members of COF. Red's got to be super careful.
Champion Red is not in a good position. The pillar is going to slow him down. He's going to get rooted up. He's got no chance to survive this one. Throwing out the ulti to hopefully get something for himself. RAC taken out to half. But that's a very good pick for COF to look to try to end this game. They're going to get bot lane inhibitor guaranteed, as there is just not too much BBZ can do against this push. They're going to get the inhib, but are they going to take the fight? They do have the LDR on Aphelios, and that's going to be very good for shredding down these tanks. They're just going to call it off and walk it out. 1 minute and a half on this Elder Dragon. I think COF are going to try to reset, take their gold, spend it a little bit, try to get a little bit stronger so that they can ensure this Elder Drake for themselves.
Well, I mean, we talked before about, okay, no, it doesn't get caught with the
fight we were looking for. Paytime getting a pillar on a 3 is not going to matter too much. Subjugating for some health back. Paytime looking to draw turn it back on Crossongo. Crossongo going to have to flash that one. Barely alive. As Dax taking the front line now, they're jumping right on into this base. They're going to take down the tier 3 mid turret and go for the 3rd inhib of the game. Songo getting some HP back. Dax going to get, narrowly dodging off the root on that one. That's going to be a triple inhib for COF, giving them even more advantage as this Elder comes up in 35 seconds. This is a win condition that COF really, really wants in order to end this game very, very soon, as BBZ are now going to be scrambling in their base to clear these minions and stay in this game as long as they can.
And I mean, I think that at this point BBZ sadly are out of ideas, because whilst they are trying to clear, I mean, if this Elder goes down, it's going to be up in 10 seconds. They are going to try to make a bit of a break for it, but Dax is walking back to base right now, and whilst they're losing out on fights without the Elder, with this Elder now, there is absolutely, and the Mountain Soul, I mean, there's absolutely no way that they win any sort of engage. This Aphelios, whilst we hyped it up as one that we thought the pick that was going to make a bit of the difference in these fights, it's really just not been able to achieve enough this game so far. Tef, I'm definitely not going to fault him for this entirely, because he's had to build extremely defensively as we see the Elder going down. That's just going to more or less seal the deal for this game unless something miraculous happens. Because he's had to build defensively. He's not got enough damage. And I mean, he's been a little bit tentative, I think, with his Moonlight Vigil. I think there was a moment there on the siege of the mid tower. He could have popped it. He instead elected just to hold on to it because he didn't feel like he had the right guns, which is fair enough. It's just, so far, all of the fights have been going the way of COF because they do have this front line. They have this Alawi that's been so heavily accelerated, this Trundle. All of them, the Victor as well, he's got a massive shutdown on his head. He's now working towards a death cap, already got 3 items on the board and some anti-heal against the Tryndamere and the Xin Zhao, and the Aphelios, of course. BBZ are trying to get themselves back a little bit of vision in their bot side jungle, but this is one of those points where they're going to have to play out this Elder, and with 3 inhibs exposed, double super minions walking into 3 lanes. They do have a lot of wave clear. That's one thing they do have at their disposal, but
Dax going into the fight
does not win
the Elder Soul. Dax might go down here as he's taken very low. Elder almost proccing on him. Is it going to ensure it? Yes, it will. The GA will be popped. Paytime taken very low, however. He's going to try to get out of this one alive, and he will. Orphic with the Undying Rage going to try to even up the score a little bit, but it's not going to matter. Elder keeps proccing on the Undying Rage, and it's going to finally go through with the triple kill for Irelia is imminent. And Beshi going for the 1v1 on Tef. Tef taken very low, and the BM from Big Beshi is going to seal the deal. That's 5 down for BBZ. And COF are going to take this game for themselves. Very well played. I want to just mention that against the Fed Syndra, PC Vita has built not one single bit of magic resist, only mountain bonuses, and has taken almost no damage from Syndra's abilities in these fights. Very well played from COF. Very, very beautiful comp, proving us wrong. And these wild cards gave us a show.
Yeah, I mean, this Alawi did manage to get everything she needed in order to snowball the game. She became virtually unkillable in the mid to late stages of the game after being funneled a couple of kills into a bit of oversteps from Orphic. A massive, to be honest, he was overstepping. I don't feel bad in saying this from level 1. We saw him going very deep into the bot side jungle level 1 and getting caught out immediately. And I understand it. It is Tryndamere. You are, given a bit of leeway with your basically, you're supposed to be running in and going deep. That's what the champion does. But it did put too many resources onto this top side early on in the game. And after that, I mean, if we look at the KDA once more, it was just all across the board. Just look at pay time here. He's 8-1 and 15, 10-3 and 7, 9-2. Just the top and the solo laners and the jungler on just this bot lane. I mean, Beshi was definitely getting some engages, and it is nice with Jhin. He is able just to provide. That's one of the things I love about the champion is he is able to provide a lot of utility, even if he isn't a main damage dealer himself. With the curtain call, the deadly flourish as well, just providing those additional roots, the captive audience as well. But either way, it didn't matter because we did think that this bot lane was going to make the difference, but it really wasn't. We were proven wrong. It was this this top side from and indeed, like in the mid-late stages, the mid laner as well from the side of COF that really made the difference. And yeah, interesting comm coming out from that, but they got everything they needed to make this happen, and yeah, solid win for them.
Definitely so. Very good start to the day, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned because in a little bit you will have an interview with our winners. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, and we will see you soon.
Hello, everyone. Chris Edgeworth here for our first interview of the night, and I am joined this time by the Church of Alfonso's jungler Paytime on the premiere. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good, man. That was a really fun game. Happy that we could pull out the win.
Yeah, after we the long have we waited premiere of Church of Alfonso. Let's start with that. We did see you pop up last week for a show match, but here is the long-awaited debut of Church of Alfonso, who, after their first win on the broadcast tonight, is 4-2, if you can believe it, folks. So talk to me just a little bit, if you would, about what it's been like waiting to get into the league and then finally having this performance in this premiere.
I think the craziest thing about this whole situation is that we didn't even like play our starting roster. Like, I don't know, last season I would definitely say that like we had a lot more consistency in terms of like when we the players that we were playing with and who showed up and stuff, and it was just like even though it's our first game, like our first official game playing on broadcast and whatnot, like we still didn't have a full roster. It's been like a really hectic week, I guess. We haven't really been practicing, but was really happy to see that, you know, even without all that practice, we were able to kind of like put together what we've built so far in terms of like our synergy for the times that we have been able to play together this season, and we pulled out a win against a really strong team.
Yeah, this was certainly, when you're going to premiere in the league in the third week, this is definitely what you want to do. Put everyone else on notice and let them know that, hey, there's another contender just waiting over the horizon that they hadn't gotten a chance to see yet. So let's wait on that for a second, if you could. Talk to me a little bit about this game in particular. For the premiere game, you folks have a spicy comp of the blue 4 and 5 Trundle Alawi pickup, and then you folks were up against something on BBZ side. So what were your thoughts on what you folks wanted to bring into this game and what you're up against?
120%. This fucking guy can only play Alawi. Sorry if I can't curse. But
it's okay. Everybody gets one.
This dude was just like, I was like, all right, what are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we looking at? Because we got a blind pick. He's like, you can pick me Alawi because they banned Ornn, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know. Like, because like I'm the coach, so I like do the drafting, and like I do a lot of the analysis, and my head was just going all kinds of places when I was told that we kind of just had to pick Alawi, and like picked it last second, and for the next pick it was just like, I guess we just go Trundle because we like to match up into Zin, and they have like low mobility carries, so it kind of makes sense. We absolutely had no idea how like the game was gonna play out, but as you can see, it was a little bit of a banger for us. Kind of popped off, except for Jen. He kind of had a rough game.
that guy is the solo queue Jins extraordinaire. Not my my homie Trulax who might be watching, but you see these Jins that are just like, they show up in the fights, I'm helping folks, and they're just shooting long range. She's like, hey, he's got 16 assists. He's got more assists than you even. More assists even than the support, because Beshiwap was the dirty little kill stealer. But you know, that we respect that. It was you know, they showed up, you know, Cold Blaster out here, you know, he's helping. So let's talk a little bit about this game in particular, about its messy fights. It seemed that you folks just couldn't manage to stay away from each other for any more than 2 minutes before you need to actually have all 5 people engaged in not just like burst fights of where just like boom, all the action goes down. You guys wanted to fight for like 2 minutes at a time, chasing people around, stretching the fights across like a third of the map, basically. How did it feel playing in this game? Obviously, you folks really pulled away with it at the end there, but with how you know, fluid it was in the early game, did you have any sort of fears that this might slip through your grasp?
No, that honestly, like, it was so hard to plan proactively. I think like if anyone was like paying attention to like last season, we were really good at like controlling objectives, but in terms of like actually like playing proactively to create advantages, like we kind of struggled with that. And this year, like I really wanted to like figure out how we can do that. Like all that really means is like communicating more, communicating better, playing together. But in this game specifically, like we normally have game plans coming into it, and we were just like, we don't know how the fuck this is gonna work unless they walk into us. I cussed again. I'm sorry. That's my last time. Not going for Shrek 3. But yeah, we ended up finding a lot of situations where they were like walking into us, overextending, and like the one thing that we could do pretty well is like look for picks. And there was one time where we were able to pick off the Xin Zhao that was like chasing Victor in the side lane, and then we were able to use the Trundle Pillar into Jin W combo, and it was just like the only things we were able to like really come into this game and execute on in terms of the game plan is like if they overextend, play it slow, and figure out like what are some good engages where we could capitalize on the backline's positioning, and that if we do find a situation where we can look for a pick with our various pick tools that we have in our team comp, like obviously let's seize them. And like I said, we did such a good job communicating and being really synergistic when it came to like capitalizing on those openings, and I'm just really proud of my team. Really good stuff.
Awesome. Well, we will be looking forward to seeing more of Church of Alfonso on the broadcast, hopefully. So with that, I do want to thank you, Paytime, for this interview and give you the opportunity to, if you have any final thoughts, any banter, any shout-outs you didn't have an opportunity to get out on the stream yet.
You know what? Shout out to you, Chris. Thanks for giving these interviews and supporting us. We appreciate you. And I guess shout out to my team too. We played all right.
Yeah, they played all right, but it's all thanks to me that this happened. So really, the
right,
team should thank
right.
me. So I respect that and appreciate that. And I'll as a little aside, tip our hat to all of our staff members who helped me be here and get all this stuff organized and get it to broadcast. So many hands touch this before it gets to your eyes, folks. So that's a lot of good people behind the scenes. And Paytime, thanks again for this interview, folks. That is going to be it for this interview, but we're going to take a short break, and you're going to see some of those good people who helped make this broadcast happen on the stage as we have a show match coming up next. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.